What is going on? You are watching and listening to Tags Live, talk about gay sex, the live version of this show. I'm your host, Steve V, alongside Cody Maurice Doggett, my co-host. How you doing?
Doing well. Hello, darling. How are you doing?
Hello, and it's such a celebratory night. Cheers
Yes, it
to
is.
you. Those,
Cheers to you.
those of
This
you
is not water. Don't worry.
Those of you joining us tonight live, we thank you. We know that there's a huge celebration going on that we were going to talk about in a second. But thanks for joining us for a few seconds here. We really appreciate it. And on this inauguration day, which is so special, we have to acknowledge it. What a special day today was, the inauguration day. And I knew it would be, just because out with the really old and unwanted. And I knew it was going to be in with, oh my gosh, Biden and the first African American South Asian vice president. I did not know it was going to be as emotional as it turned out to be. And it was not a normal inauguration year, obviously, as everybody knows by now. And when you listen to this, you know. And it was very emotional. And I have to applaud the year of, when we first started the pandemic, Cody, and a lot of people were doing virtual events. They were put together by shoestrings and here and there. And I think we've learned throughout the years. I mean, I know Gay Pride, I was talking about it last year, that here in New York, it was a great celebration that when you do it right, the things that we've learned, and I do believe we learn and we grow and there's a light, we learn things on how to improve on. There's going to be things about this inauguration and virtual events in general that we're going to carry with us, even if and when, hopefully, we can all get back together again. It was so beautiful, down to the fashion, down to Kamala Harris.
Yes.
Having Sotomayor induct her in, a Latina, to Jennifer Lopez singing and speaking in Spanish, singing in Spanish, to All This Land Is Our Land. I wrote All American on my t-shirt today, or I'm wearing it today.
Beautiful, beautiful.
It was the nuances of today. It was President Biden's speech that says he wants to be the president, and it's from his soul. He is quoted as saying that he really, and you believe him. And it was an emotional day, a beautiful day of not, and I don't want to take anything of when Obama, and I'll get off my soapbox in a second. I want to hear from you, because we got a lot to talk about.
We sure
on
do.
Our show here, not just about. Well, remember back in the Obama, when it was change, and it was amazing. We all believed change was coming, and change did come. There was something realistic about the inauguration today that was more about hope. In other words, maybe not fooling ourselves that getting so caught up in the inauguration and what was happening and the pomp and circumstance, albeit a virtual different type of pomp and circumstance, that really was realistic. And how I know it was realistic, it was the nuances, like I mentioned, and Kamala Harris having even the security guard in the Capitol escorting her down, who is now a hero.
So good. You told me about that.
To the fact that they all went to work, right? I mean, they are like...
I would have took the day off, just so you know.
Nope. Back to work.
But they were on it.
And I say it's a glimmer, a light of hope, and I'm so glowing and beaming. How about yourself? Thoughts?
I am in awe. Like you said, the fashions were amazing, first and foremost, just to get that out of the way. But there was this overwhelming sense of togetherness and coming together, like with Garth Brooks singing, and like you said, Jennifer Lopez, and
Lady
And Lady
Gaga.
Gaga. How could I forget about Lady Gaga? My mind went blank. Oh my goodness, I'm going to get red. But it was such, and even Joe Biden's speech was about coming together as a country. It was just so beautiful, and it was so good to hear those words. And then not only to hear those words, but to see them go into action afterwards. Kamala Harris went right to the Senate floor and inducted 3 new senators into the Senate. And Joe Biden,
one replacing her, a Latino from California, a African American Black pastor from Atlanta, and a Jewish millennial.
Yep. Couldn't be more diverse, and I couldn't be more for it. And then also, Joe Biden signed executive actions on 17 executive actions today on COVID, climate change, immigration. And then you wanted to mention one more. What was that about?
Well, one of the ones I've heard about, and I didn't hear tonight, but I've heard that they are going to do, it has to do with the transgender community. And it, you know, we like to talk about things that affect our community on this show, as well as Tag's podcast. And, you know, things happened in the last administration. The obvious happened, but there was things that got overturned within that affected our community. Yeah. One of them was the transgender community not being able to no longer serve in the military, something that the Obama administration had enacted. And stuff like that, maybe people knew, but there was things like that and others that affected our personal community that were signed into law by the Trump administration. This is one I know, if it's not part of the 17, it will be something that the Biden administration will put into effect, that transgender people can serve in the military from here on out. And I love that. And that's an important thing. And we'd love to report on transgender. Our brothers and sisters they're just part of our acronym and we love them. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of cool.
It's so exciting, and it's so focusing it brings us together. It's such a force of togetherness for our nation, and it's exactly what we needed. So I'm happy today. Fill me with joy.
Me too. Read any comments before we move on to this other topic we wanted to get to before we move on, Cody? Anything?
We're just saying hi to Greg and Blake. And Greg said he actually went on a huge jockstrap buying spree.
Oh, wow.
So that's exciting. I want to see pictures, Greg.
Dime Mas, tell us more. Well, we've got 2.
Or it didn't happen. Go ahead.
We part of our new show, and we need to get into our show, Tags Live. We continue on. We took a little break here. One of the reasons we took a break last week was for my 50th birthday. If you listen to a couple episodes for Tags podcast, you'll hear my 50th episode. Cody over here roasted me. But
oh man,
so much fun.
So much fun.
But we wanted to really briefly talk what we did. And if you look at our social media at Tags Podcast on all platforms, we went to Mexico and we took the advice at a lot. We didn't travel during my birthday, fell after the New Year. So we went to Mexico at a time that was really slow. And I think in general, Cody, we can agree that the 3 of us, the 4 of us in total that were in our group, really all hung out with ourselves. We did go to Puerto Vallarta for 3 days, which was interesting, and we have a couple things to say about that. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the one thing I took away from that is I used to associate PV for so long, and this is pivotal for me turning 50, with kind of hooking up and going to a lot of the stripper bars. And believe me, when that all happens again, because they were not open past a certain time, and we didn't go to them anyway, we really hung out in our 4-person bubble the whole time, and all the restaurants were so safe. But I learned that, to me, I can look at Mexico, at least PV, in a different light, which is refreshing for me. It doesn't have to be about hooking up, even though I am about that, and I will get to that. And
well, I can't wait for that to happen again.
Yes. And lastly, we went to a beautiful surfer town called Sayulita, and which was
Oh, girl. Hello? Well, okay. So Steve was saying about Mexico that it was an amazing trip, and we spent the first couple of days in Puerto Vallarta. And like he was saying, we're just used to partying in Puerto Vallarta, especially. We went to Sayulita, and it was more of a beautiful. Oh, he's gone. Okay, hopefully he comes back. We'll see what happens. All right, guys, stick with us. So, and it was more of a Zen, peaceful experience. We went to yoga. We did a lot of exploration. We got to know the people that were in our pod. I actually went on the trip. Oh, there, he's back. All right. Yeah, Blake, PV is really beautiful. And the beaches are gorgeous. And we did go to the beach, and we drank, of course, and but we didn't really indulge in the nightlife scene there. So it was really, really there he is. Hi, Boo. I thought it was me. I see your eyes moving.
I hear him here. You're good.
It looked like you were froze, but then I saw your eyes move, and I was like,
Am I okay now?
You're good now. You're good. I was like, he's moving. I don't know if he knows he's moving. Welcome back.
Okay.
I told them the smallest fraction about Sayulita.
Okay. You froze too, so that's weird. Okay, but we're back. So okay.
We're back.
Okay. Hopefully we're good. Yes, Sayulita was amazing, correct?
Yes, it was gorgeous. I told them we got to do yoga. We used that time for exploration. And then I was going to say something about how we were in our pod. And I was familiar with the two other people that were there, but I really used that time to really forge a long lasting and wonderful connection with the other two people that were there, as well as you, of course, but I already knew you, and I know, and it was just so lovely. I had a wonderful time being with you and being with the two other people. And I did not mention the food. The food was outstanding.
Amazing. So
yes.
Good. Yes, absolutely. So good. We had such a great time. And yes, and sorry for the technical difficulties. We hope we're back. Anything you want to read before we move on to our next topic, Cody?
Blake says he really wants to go to PV. I highly recommend it. And just other people saying that we froze, which is okay because technical difficulties happen, you know?
Okay, good. Well, we got to move on. And one of the things that we wanted to talk about was I'm just getting my notes here. We're a little rusty too, by the way, from being right, Cody.
I definitely am. I need this to lubricate myself. Thank you very much.
Oh my goodness. One of the things that we do on this show is called Vulnerable Voices that we've been starting since we started the show Tags Live, and it's really connecting with our community about the vulnerabilities that happen in our LGBTQ world. And on this episode, speaking of turning 50, it couldn't cross my mind that aging in our community, and I talked a little bit about it on Tags podcast the other day, And you're still there, right, Cody?
I'm still
Yes.
here. Yeah. I'll let you know.
So
I'll hit you. Don't worry.
on my other show that my sister put together a video of all the things, almost like welcome to the first 50 years, Steve Rodriguez. And I've done so much as a former gymnast and a former dancer and having my clothes off and being a homoerotic model for so long that at a certain point, I don't look like how I used to look. Now, I'm happy with the way I look now, but it is a transition. And I know that there is ageism in our community. And I've been making sense with that for the last several months, particularly in this pandemic where we have had a lot of time to reflect on what's important for us. And to know that there is still ageism in our community. I was watching the new episodes of RuPaul's Drag Race, the season 13, I believe it is.
Woo!
And right, and there's a
queen.
queen on there. I'm trying to find my notes. Sorry, again, we're a little rusty here. We'll get back into it. I promise.
Take a drink, darling. Take a drink.
Tamisha Iman, who is 49, and she revealed to the other characters that she's 49, and all of the other contestants are in their late 20s, mid 20s. Denali, one of them, who's fierce, is in her late 20s, and said something to the fact like, "Oh, I didn't know we had like a Cro-Magnon on the show this season," and I think like, oh, here we are. Even though they all ended up giving her props and saying she's this and that, in our community, there's still ageism. And what were your thoughts when you heard that comment? And then tell us your thoughts on ageism, or is this all in my head?
No, oh my God, definitely not. So I was really shocked when they let that comment make it on air, because for me it was really jarring. I was like, did they just call her prehistoric on live national television? I was like, I couldn't believe it was happening. And I took a little bit of offense to it. I was like, she's almost the same age as me. I cannot believe they just said that about her. I'm completely viable, even though I am however old I am. And I think part of that, I think that ageism I have a limited experience with it, but I'm coming to that age where I think it's going to be more prevalent, and it's definitely pervasive in our community right now. I mean, like I said earlier, I don't tell people my age. I don't list it on any of my socials, even Facebook. I don't put it on Facebook. And only the people that I went to high school really know how old I am.
They'll check.
And they will tell you how old I am. But I have had what happened with Tamisha. I've experienced things of that nature when I tell people how old I am. And either people are frequently shocked at how old I am, and because I look so young, and this skin is so soft and supple, and I'm so hip. Do the kids still say hip, by the way? I'm not really sure. Okay. But either it's one of two things. When a guy that I'm dating is shocked by my age, either they're perfectly fine with it because they're still attracted to me, or it goes to the complete opposite spectrum and they ghost me completely. And I know that it's because of my age, because I just told them. Yeah, it's happened to me a couple of times actually. What are your experiences with it in the gay community?
It's interesting because yours seems to be more with those you come in contact with, and like the example we talked about on RuPaul's Drag Race, referencing people. I'm actually somebody that owned my age. Mm-hmm. I've been talking about, did a whole show about my 50th. I'm definitely owning it. I think that in looking at video of me in the past and images of myself, I've had more time to reflect, like, wow, I was somebody that was really always with my shirt off, and I've had to own my new look, kind
I still have
of,
my shirt
that
off, by the way.
I don't look like I looked at a.
Uh-oh. He froze again. Okay. Well, also, I wanted to say about the ageism thing is that I personally have dated men in that were older than me, and I always liked men that were older than me, and I find it refreshing, and I think it's wonderful to date somebody with more experience than you because you get to actually learn from them. And I find it a really interesting dichotomy now because I'm finding that more and more younger guys are hitting on me, and I think it's strange because I don't know what their attraction is to me. I can't really connect the dots, even though I always dated older men. And it's just a weird place for me to be as far as Andy's gone. Hopefully he comes back. We miss you, Steve. So yeah. What do you guys think about dating outside of the age group? Oh, thank you, Matt. Matt says that he would hit on me, which I really, really appreciate. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking, Matt? He's 26. Wow, wow. And you know what? I have I have an age limit, and it's. I'm sorry to say, Matt, you're not in my age limit. I I would probably have sex with you. Let's be very real. But I would not. I don't know. We would have to vibe. We would have to have a really good, strong connection in order for me to date you. So Blake says that he is attracted to younger guys and he has been getting some interest from them online, and he's 45, which I'm having the same experience. I'm not quite, I'm like a hair shy of 45. I'm not going to tell you my age. Like I said, I'm super private. I'm going to be like Beyonce in this and never reveal my age after 30 something. So Greg, I mean, yeah. Thank you, Greg. I would definitely date someone from your profile picture. It looks like you're a little bit older than me. So I would date somebody your age as well. Yeah. And Matt says that he would absolutely, he wouldn't do anything without a stronger connection. And he's sick of shallow people, which I think is what the basis of any relationship is. So I really should not say that I have an age group that I want to fit into, because if the connection is there, the connection is there. Oh, Matt, give me a call and he says that too bad he's too young. Give me a call and maybe we can work something out. Because do you live in New York, by the way? Greg says that he's 65. I've dated guys way older than that. So bring it on, brother. And Blake says he feels that they're not going to like him because of his age, which I think is something that's very valid in today's gay culture. So he says he might as well put it out there and weed those guys out. I agree with you 100%, because if they're not interested in me for who I am completely, then they can get dissuaded from dating me by my age, then they're not really worth dating anyway. So I agree with you. All right. So let me text Steve and see what's going on with him right now. Oh, did I hear a click? No. Okay, so Matt and Greg are in Michigan. I think I just made a love connection, actually. you guys, you guys should date each other. and Blake is in Atlanta. So, my sister lives in Atlanta. Hold on, this is Steve. I'm going to answer this. Do you guys just hold on 1 second? We'll be right back. All right, guys. So, did you guys have any questions or comments on dating outside of your age range? Steve is going to come back as soon as he can. He's reloading, and we're going to take it from there. All right. If you think of any questions, just feel free to type it into the message bar. I am going to. Okay, Blake goes, dating in general would be nice. Haven't met anyone in a long time because of COVID. I agree with you 100%. I had a relationship that kind of ended during COVID, and then I haven't really dated anybody ever since then. I have gone on dates, but it's really difficult to get to know someone in this time, and I agree with you. So just be vigilant is what I say. I continue to try to connect with people virtually first, and then as safely as possible in person. Greg says he only dates younger guys, but it's been a long time. You got to get out there, Greg. You gotta. I think for me, especially, I have put myself on the back burner for so long that that putting myself out there and being vulnerable felt really, really scary. And I found that once I actually did that, so many rewards came from that. So it was really, really wonderful. Blake says, what's the best older, younger dating app or site? Daddy Hunt. And is a really good one. So I've been on Daddy Hunt several times looking for a daddy. And I don't have one yet, but hopefully soon. So Matt says he's been really curious about dating older guys, but I like them when they are in shape. Attraction is definitely a very important part of any relationship. So I say attraction should be one of the factors in addition to connection.
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
You back? Oh, there you go, boo. Hey, welcome back.
I don't know what is going on, but
okay, we're happy to have you back.
Thank you. Where did we?
We're still on the topic of ageism in the community. Did you have anything that you want to share on that topic?
No, I think we should move on because this is about the time we were going to move on to our last and final topic, right? Which this is a funny topic that Cody and I have been had. We one of the things we do on this show is that I love about Cody is we prep and we always have more conversation about our gay sexuality than we need to have.
No pun intended, right?
Meetings for this show often are longer than the actual show, and
Oh my God.
we often go through different topics. This is one for some reason. It was stemmed by an article that we never really got to it for the last several weeks and sometime in 2020. And it had to do with friends with benefits, correct? And it had to do, I don't
Yes.
have the article with me right now, but it essentially had to do with people are trying to hook up right now with or trying to maybe find a friend with benefits sex during this time. I have a lot to say with it. What were your first thoughts about it though, Cody, when you read, and then I'll layer in what I was thinking.
So the friends with benefits thing for me in the pandemic is you have to make sure that everybody is doing the same thing to be safe. Is that they're all on board for a common goal to be safe and to not spread the virus. Because that's the most important thing right now, I feel like. Also,
No, go.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go. Go ahead.
That was a long dramatic pause. So I was
also, I'm definitely known for those. Also, I don't know if that is really plausible for me specifically because I am so apt to catch feelings when it comes to any relationship, friends with benefits. If we're having sex, then you're my boyfriend, basically, is what it amounts to.
I mean, the one thing about you that you've talked about since we started the show was you've been really good with in the pandemic of socially distancing dating, going out. You've talked about it on the show several times, how you've gone on these dates. And I commend you for that because I think that's really cool. And you even talked about one time kissing somebody you were interested in through the mask, which I was like, it'd be like kissing somebody through this like microphone thing. And I'm no. Let's try it.
Let's try it now.
I've tried to put my mouth around it, which honestly, my mouth is pretty. I mean, over the years, it's a grower, because I like.
Oh
but
my!
In truth be told, I have revisited those friends with benefit people. There was a person I talked about last year that I dated that lived in my building here. And recently he wished me a happy birthday. I liked some of his artwork. And I think before we were dating, but he recently messaged me and said, "Hey, could I take you out for something sweet for your 50th?" Again with the 50. and I said, sure. And this time I think, though, I'm more inclined to hang out with him. Actually, he's a really nice guy. I really like him. At least hang out. We did have good sex. I know we're probably like not dating boyfriend material, but because he's like down the hall, I could, and I like him, I could maybe potentially make him a friends with benefits. There's one other person that I talked about in this pandemic that we strictly had that. And the article talked about that we're referencing is like, how do you go about finding one? Well, he was somebody, this other guy was somebody that we were communicating on one of the apps, and we ultimately got together. He was so polite. We had drinks at his house. It was turning out that it was never going to be more than that. I'm not sure that he identifies as gay per se. I'm using air quotes for those of you listening.
Oh.
But the sex was really good, and he's so nice and polite, and we're attracted enough that we have respect for each other, if that makes sense. and we like the sex, and
Mhm.
it's always going to be a polite interaction, albeit in bed, but and we're compatible, that I would continue potentially having that friends with benefits with him. Now there's a third guy that has come back in the mix, but we're
Oh
just talking, and I
my!
don't know that we're even going to do that. He's got a big dick, but I don't know that I'm going to go. I don't think so, though. I don't think so.
Wow.
I'm just saying. Anyways, that's my take on what are the people saying? What do you have to say?
Blake says proximity is nice. Oh, by the way, Greg says that he's going to be my daddy, and I'm here for it. Sign me up.
Wow, I
Okay,
love
Greg?
it. This all happened while I
And then
went
Matt says he talked
frozen.
to
You got Greg,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
didn't
we
get
were
Greg.
talking, and we were talking.
I know, and I
Hey,
have a
you snooze,
feeling
you
like
lose,
my
okay?
connection is going wonky again. So, but
It's okay.
yeah, we got like 10
You're
minutes
doing
here.
fine, baby. You still look lovely. Okay. And then Matt says he talked to a guy on Grindr that won't hook up with anyone at all during the pandemic. It's kind of scaring him into not, I guess, not hooking up, but he says straight. So I don't know what that necessarily means. I hope it's not scaring him to be straight. And he decided to be more decisive and almost exclusive about who he hooks up with, which I think is a brilliant, wonderful idea.
Yeah, it's an
Great
interesting
idea, Matt.
time. We've talked about it in different versions of this show over the last year about how this pandemic has really had us change about our thoughts and our feelings about everything from going out to who we hook up with to boyfriends to on and on and on. And the one thing that comes to mind is we've been really reflective, and that's not a bad thing. I don't think the pause
Mhm.
that we've
It's not.
had to alter and reflect on how we approach some of this stuff, I don't think is a bad thing. I think it's been kind of good. And he's the last comment you made,
I
he
agree.
has every right to take it, not want to hook up with anybody. I would argue there's just as amount of other people that are hooking up, and there's some that are being more prudent about who they do hook up with. It's all, do you think, Cody, though, and I would ask our listeners here, as the rollout goes this year with the vaccination, and for
Mhm.
those that are getting vaccinated, and I know you and I got into a little disagreement over our vacay,
Oh
but we're
Lord.
not
Oh
going to bring it
yeah. Are
up.
you really?
But I,
You ain't
but
right.
for those, do you think, Cody, that those that will get it, because on our other show the other day we talked about, this is a relevant point, to be really quick, people are putting
Mhm.
vaccinated or COVID vaccinated on their
Yeah.
profile on Grindr and on their profile, and I was confused. We talked all about it. You can listen to episode 233 because we really got into it. It is our poll question of the week. Do you think it's right or wrong for people to put COVID vaccinated as their profile pic on Grindr or Scruff or any of them? Not maybe whether it's right. Do you agree with it? I was confused by it. Do you have an opinion on that?
I don't think I would put it on there. I think that once I do get vaccinated,
Mm-hmm.
because my mom is on the vaccine, she put it.
Cody and I got into it, but that's okay. It was healthy. Yes.
And we love each other. My uncle has already been vaccinated because he's in the military. So I'm using him as a test for how well or how poorly the vaccination is working. So when I do get vaccinated, I don't intend to put it on any Grindr. I think that's completely unnecessary. I think a discussion is necessary, but I don't think that putting it in your Grindr profile is necessary. I think that's
Yeah,
a
one of the
little
things we
strange,
talked about on the other show was
actually.
people are associating it with clean or not clean, and that references the old
Yeah,
discussion
yeah.
of HIV positive, not positive, clean. And it's,
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't even.
It
And I
leaves a
don't
bad
real
taste
there
in
was
my
a
mouth.
whole screen capture of people that had put that on there, and I'm like, wow, really? The vaccination has just gone out. I find it hard to believe that all of these people were COVID vaccinated. Somehow were frontliners. Maybe they were. I don't know. But what's your point? Why not put it in your profile? But and
Or
what does that
maybe,
even mean? That like because you and I right now, I think Cody probably couldn't get the vaccination right now. I was just encouraging my 83-year-old mom
yeah.
to get it and call her doctor. I would find it hard. So if we found somebody on the apps that had that, does that mean
Mhm.
then that, oh, lucky you, but we can't get that?
I was going to bring up a point about that because there's two shots to the vaccination. Does that mean that they got the first shot, or does that mean that they got both of the shots? Because as you will know, that hot doctor that got the first shot, he went to the titty doctor. He went to the Puerto Vallarta right after that. He only had the one shot, and it's only like a 50
Yeah,
50 chance that
good
it's going to actually
point.
protect you from the
Which one are you
virus.
getting? Because we know
So
it's a two-shotter, and yeah, what are the people saying?
yeah, what does this really mean? The people are saying there are several on Grindr that won't hook up during the pandemic, like himself, because well, Greg is 65 and he's at risk of at his age. He says he has to be very careful and delayed gratification is healthy. Ooh, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Delayed gratification, making holding out and making sure that you like uh what's it called, anticipation is very very
Mm-hmm.
very sexy, and I think that's lost on the youth
Yeah, I
today.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and Blake brings up a point that I think is actually really valid. He says, did they even get the shot at all, or
Thank
are they just
you.
saying
Thank
it
you,
because that's
Blake. That
something
was
else
my
that
point
happened?
on if you guys want to listen to episode 233, we really get into it and are not all on the same page, but it's a good discussion. And that was sort of my viewpoint that like, do I really believe? Is it sort of this trendy thing that guys are putting on there as if, but do we really believe them? And to me, it's a sensitive subject. I said it sort of on the last show that with so many people dying, some of our friends that have died, to be so flippant to put it as your profile pick as if you're trying to get dick or ass. In other words, why not maybe put it within your like why does it have to be like your name and that in there instead of like
Yeah.
John Doe or whatever. I mean, or I'm into hot cock or whatever. I mean, why does that have to be the thing? Because so many of us,
I think that's something that's much better to lead
right?
with. I'm
That
in the
would
hot
be,
cock. Yes.
but no, not exclusively, not exclusively,
I mean, me
people.
too.
But yeah, I just think, and for those of us that don't have access to that, I think that's not right. Cody, are you there? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I feel
I'm
like we're on a
100% here.
yeah, I'm on a
And I'm on
shoestring
your
of like
team.
for the last few minutes here. Like, please don't go out for the last few minutes here. I
We're
know,
making it.
but
We're
yeah, I
making it
mean, it's a
happen.
larger discussion. I would encourage you guys to go to take our poll, patreon.com/ talk about gay sex. It's our talk about gay sex community page that we offer. Cody and I are doing the after show this week, tomorrow, right, Cody?
Yeah.
And
Oh
we have
yeah,
some
I
new
can't wait.
swag and some merch that you guys can start purchasing soon. We've got some fun stuff going on over there. And we really want this year, as we renew in 2021 for both shows, to be about hearing from you. And that's why we like this. So it's going to be a lot more interactive with Talk About Gay Sex, Tags Live, all of it. And I really love that, bringing everybody, because I think that's what we need to be hearing from all of us, and whether or not we can disagree, but that's all good. And I invite everyone to bring their opinion forward.
Yep. Disagree
Yes,
respectfully.
exactly. So,
Yes, exactly. But Greg says that he wholeheartedly agrees with
hmm,
you. So
thank you, Greg. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Greg.
it's an interesting topic. It was something that I didn't know about. People putting. Did you know, Cody? By the way, that people were
I
because
didn't know. No.
both Lincoln, my other co-host, and Jeremy knew about it. I've gone on some of the apps. I haven't seen it yet, but apparently it's a big debate on people putting that, and it's I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me to put when we're just hearing that they are slow from the last administration of rolling out the vaccine, and when your mother isn't able to get it just yet, how are all these gay guys that don't seemingly look, maybe they are, we could give them the benefit of the doubt that they're all frontliners on some way, shape, or form, but even if you were, knowing that everybody doesn't have access to it, is it like, oh, well, I got it. And does that mean you're only going to hook up with those that have access to it? Or you're really eliminating and making I don't understand the point of it. If you were to put it in your messaging, hey, and by the way, I happen to get yay, and I encourage everybody when you can to get the vaccination, I applaud that. But when everybody doesn't have access to it, I'm not sure your point. Like, what's your point? And I'm all about the point.
Yeah, I agree with you. And so does Matt. Matt says that it's nonsensical. It's not like he's going to have the benefit of having the vaccine anytime soon. Hopefully, we will all have the vaccine very soon. So he agrees with what you're saying. So yeah, we're all in agreement.
Kumbaya moment. I love that.
Kumbaya.
It is, as I wear my Mexico beads that I got.
Me
Exactly.
too.
Any other comments that we got, Cody, before we wrap it up here? Okay.
I think that's it.
We want to thank you all because we know today's a big night and there's a big production going on that I'm going to probably tune into. I'm recording it on the inauguration. And we want to thank you guys for tuning in live. It means a lot. We were a little rusty today. Myself, by we, I mean me. We will be back in full form next week. And we really want to make this year and this show really interactive. So send in your questions, your comments, things you want us to talk about, things you want us to weigh in. You can do it on all social media platforms at Tags Podcast and weigh in. It's also a good year to renew, and Cody is a life coach. So tell the people how they can reach you on that.
You can reach me at Cody at kmdcoaching.net. Just email me there or KMD Coaching on Instagram. You can message me there and we'll set up a discovery call. Get to know one another.
Follow us on all social media platforms at Tags Podcast. And in the meantime, continue being safe, wear your mask, but keep it sexy. And we will talk to you soon.